Today is Saturday, April 27th, 2019. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor Edge of Extinction, Week 10, Episode 11.
That's right. This is where we turn the show over to the Survivor superfans, let them share their analysis and hopefully some predictions as to what we can expect next, because those of us playing in the Fantasy League need some help. Right?
I'm not sure. I think I'm beyond help. But I do know, for those of you with low scores, don't give up, because the most points are in the finale.
That's right. And if you are fortunate enough to have a USB 24 either active in the game or at Extinction Island, well, you could have a big old 24-point bonus waiting on you there,
That's
too.
Right.
So yes, it can indeed turn around at the end. Fear not, do not despair. There's potential light at the end of the tunnel.
Always.
But it would help if you sort of wake up and got it in gear before then.
Oh, shut up.
Oh.
Just because you've been lucking out this season.
I've been lucking out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything we need to cover before we jump into it? I think we've got another big group this week, so...
No, we don't have any announcements.
No announcements. All right, let's get to it. What did Pete have to say about the War Dog boot?
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Wow, another unpredictable, awesome episode. And again, clever job by the editors again. And now I gotta let out a great big whoa! And so much for the War Dog having control. Now sing with me. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye, War Dog. With his deep voice is off to Crybaby Land, which is the Extinction. Now he's going to deal with the Wentworth Wrath. And the cold-hearted greeting from Reem. Oh, that's going to be some fun time at Extinction Island. A challenge should be brewing soon. Woohoo! But anyway, guys, how about Rick Devens? Who would have thought he would have won his second challenge in a row? He's coming on strong now since he came back in the game after being in a tough spot. But the problem is, guys, I give him credit for doing awesome on that difficult puzzle. But if he doesn't win, I think he's gone. Clearly, he's the biggest threat now that War Dog is gone, and they all see it. But guys, tell me if you agree. The player that I would get rid of, though, and watch out for is Ron. He is playing a more clever game than I thought. He's working with Julie. He made amends after the Wentworth vote. He's working with Aurora. He even gave her back the advantage to orchestrate trust. He got Victoria. I think Ron is the real deal, and Rick too. They're the top two right now. And then I don't know. I still think after that, Victoria and Lauren may be a wild card. Lauren has the idol, but we don't know much more. Victoria's playing low key. Aurora, believe it or not, is the underdog story. Her being in a foster home, dodging bullet after bullet in challenges, and tribal. She's almost winning in every challenge, and every time her name comes up and she dodges a bullet. So Aurora's the underdog, but right now it's Ron and Rick for me. Julie, I know we saw her strategize with Lauren. She's a coattail rider. Forget Julie right now. But what a great episode, guys. And the war dog bites the dust. Anyone's game again, but I think it's Ron right now. He's playing a sneaky game, reminding me somewhat of Todd from China. Not doing great in challenges, but he's strategizing with Julie, who's like his Courtney, and Aurora is like his Amanda, a challenge beast. So we'll see how that all works out. I'm loving this season, guys, and my expectations are exceeding right now, and the family visit is coming up. I can't wait. Take care. Woo!
Woo. I think Pete cracked himself up a little at the end with that woo. Yeah, I like that analogy. Yeah, I like comparing Aurora and Julie to the China cast as well as Ron. So that could work.
Well, the one thing we do know is that fearing for your life in the game certainly seems to make you do better in challenges. The desperation kicks in, and for some reason, those who are really at jeopardy seem to just, like Rick and Aurora, they just stepped it up so much more from the desperation.
So I think there's a temptation to think that, but I think there's another explanation.
Okay.
The real talent is sitting on Extinction Island. And with so many super capable people out there, it makes these folks with relatively mediocre talent seem more so than they really are. I don't want to take anything away from their wins. They both had two wins.
No.
But there is that element to the fact that they're not exactly being challenged by the best right now.
That is true. However, Rick still wasn't doing that well until he really needed to.
Well, until David gave him an advantage, so he had a step easier to win his first one. But this one, he got on his own. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah, hey, winning's winning. So I don't want to take anything.
Absolutely.
Don't want anyone to think I'm trying to take anything away from them.
Whether it's a challenge or the game.
Exactly. So, yeah. Yep, I definitely like that. And there was definitely a reminiscence of Todd from China in the way Ron owned it when War Dog tried to throw him under the bus for voting out Kelly. And I remember flashing. I was like, oh, that's like Todd. So, yeah, I agree. Ron, from what the edit has shown us, Ron's the bigger threat. But when you go back and look, and we're, 3 or 4 times through this last episode at this point now, when you watch it, no one's tracking him that way. He's not the perceived threat. It's Aurora and now Rick. And so I got to believe coming up
Aurora sees him. So far, she's the only one.
Yeah, well, she says she doesn't trust him. I don't know if she sees him as the equal threat to Rick. I think
she at least sees the possibility that he is. She mentioned something about it, and she's the only one that they've shown us. And I think that was in one of the preview clips or something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I think she's a little bit clued in, but she still trusts him as much as she does anybody, I think.
More, yeah. I think he's done a good job in managing his social connections, so there's even more trust with him. She's not into the absolutes, like she said in Tribal Council.
She'd still vote him out, I think. Whereas Julie, I don't know that she would.
Yeah, she seems too devoted.
It'd have to be something else happen for her to justify that in her own mind. But Aurora, I think, would, just if that's the way the wind was blowing.
Yeah, given the loyalty she's received in return from everyone else. Yeah, there's definitely no love lost when, as far as she's concerned. Good deal. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got an email from Tina in Virginia. Hello, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans. I haven't written in this season, but rest assured, I have watched all episodes twice and listened to the recaps and the listener feedback shows. I'm in the middle of a 40-day road trip, sleeping in my van and going to all southern U.S. states. That sounds awesome. Exciting.
Yeah, it does.
Every Wednesday, I get a hotel room to watch Survivor, an amazing race. Now, that's a dedicated fan right there. Way to go, Tina. Let me say loud and clearly that I love Reem. I don't think she is a good player, but she is fun to watch. I love how she yells at everyone coming to her beach. It sounds like she'll have a few words for War Dog. I do like the edge of Extinction, although there does not seem to be enough time for all the action. We're just going from challenge to challenge without much camp life scenes. And now to shift gears a bit, here are my favorite 5 reasons I love your podcast. Oh, all right, cool. Number 1, you have the best committed listeners of all time, yours truly included. We couldn't agree more.
You're here.
Yes, absolutely. What a great community we have here. We're very thankful for it. Thankful and grateful. Number 2, I love it when Stacy disagrees with the feedback and tries so hard to be diplomatic and so gently says, you don't think I can be diplomatic? And so gently says he disagrees even though what he really wants to say is that's stupid.
That's just stupid.
That's not something I say, Tina. But okay, all right. I'm totally fine letting you have your
interpretation.
Your list, yeah, and if that's what you see, so be it.
She's sure that's what you want to say.
Yeah, okay, all right.
He is a contrarian. He would not deny that. You will not deny that.
Okay.
Okay.
A true contrarian would, but all right. 3, I love the extra thought you put in with your music selection and the April 1st joke you did a few years ago with Stacy playing the guitar and Joanne singing. Oh, thank you. We enjoy doing those extra things from time to time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Some more than others.
Trent's not willing to go that far out on the limb, I guess. Okay, number 4, I love how Stacy tries to be patient when Joanne double spat. We do have our spats, but that's all part of being here. Yep, and finally, number 5, my favorite thing about your podcast is how Joanne not only sticks with her opinion when Stacy completely disagrees, but doubles down and holds her ground. You go, girl. Yeah, I love that about her, too. She's awesome. Good deal. Thanks, Tina. We appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic trip there in your van. How exciting.
Though I was feisty long before I met you.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, yeah.
Sometimes too much, so.
All right. Right from the horse's mouth. There you have it. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hey, guys. This is Shea. I almost didn't call because I wasn't sure I had anything contribute worthy to say about this episode. I don't know if I've ever felt this way in a season before. I'm sure I have and just don't remember, but at this point, I feel like all the major moves and most interesting blind sides have already happened. I feel like the game has kind of peaked already, and I find myself nearing the end not fanatically rooting for anyone in particular. I guess I would be okay with Lauren, Rick, and Victoria winning for no other reason than I like them all, and they've managed to still be there, so they've done something. But other than that, I don't know. This episode was good, I guess. Like, nothing really jumps out at me that excited me to want to call immediately and say, did you guys see that? I don't know. I hope this next episode turns me around on how I'm feeling. Maybe some other listeners can change my mind and remind me of something that happened that maybe I've forgotten, or can give me a new perspective on the players that are still, I don't know. That's why I love this podcast, because just when you think you know how you feel or what's going on, you hear somebody else's point of view and it changes your mind. So we'll see. I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Hello to all the little babies, and you guys have a good week. Bye.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, even though you didn't feel that clarity or the excitement from before. I can fully understand that. It does feel like they let some of the air out of the tires. I don't think we're done yet, though. So I think there's still some excitement to be had, still some good Survivor events to come, but it does feel like it may have peaked a little early. The edit has me perplexed, I guess, and I think Shay's feeling that too. But Shay, you certainly, your feedback, I'm so glad you did call in, because as we'll hear in just a bit, your feedback, yours personally, has impact on others. So it was good to have your voice this week in the show. Thank you so much for calling in. Next up, we got an email from Barbara in Long Island.
Wow, Joanne, like you, I had War Dog going out all week too, but changed him to safe at the last minute and put Lauren out. Mm-hmm. My JSFL score is so low, 35. It's just me and Slappy McGee. Thank God
like how
I
that's a
don't
meme
play
now.
in this side challenge. Wouldn't it be funny if War Dog wins his way back into the
That
game?
would be surprising.
Funny, I don't know. Surprising, certainly.
Yeah.
Shocking, yes.
Yeah, shocking, you bet.
Shocking, yeah.
Well, that goes along with Shay's question. What would make it exciting? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Stacy, who are you picking this week? I need help. That's it for now. Bye. All right, thanks, Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay, babe, who are you picking?
I'm heavily leaning toward Rick. So I'm still processing as we were putting the show together. Obviously, we were getting some of the gist of what the other super fans were thinking, and as we get done with this, I'll have a whole new set of lenses to look at everything through. But I can't help but feel that there's going to be a little bit of a split vote potentially between Rick and Aurora. So I think they might go
Split vote, huh?
3-5, yeah, with Rick having the having extra confidence from the fake secret advantage menu that Ron provided him. So yeah, we'll talk some more about that at the end, and other folks are going to cover parts of it too. But so right now I'm leaning heavily towards Rick. So, but there's all sorts of facets to that. Like there could be blowback on Ron on this one. So.
I don't know how he doesn't go if he loses immunity, but I want him to go on a run.
Mm-hmm. You're thinking number three. In which case, they still have Aurora higher up on the list than they have Ron.
True.
So, yeah. So there you, at least that, Barbara. So you flip a coin, Aurora or Rick. Whichever one you think doesn't win immunity, they're the ones who go. All right. Thanks, Barbara. Good deal. Enjoyed your email. Thank you for the question. Next up, we got a call from Mary.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Mary from Michigan. I have not had time to write, so I'm actually calling. Ugh, not a fan of my voice recorded, but guess I'm stuck with it this week. So, what do I think? Great episode because I have been waiting since week 1 for the War Dog to get his due, and I was glad to see him go. I was shocked because I really thought that Ron would probably screw Aurora, but he didn't. Speaking of Aurora, my favorite right now, I mean, what's Victoria's game? No idea. I guess she flips and flops her way to the end, but I hope not. And Ron, I just don't like the dude. I really don't want to see him in the end. And Julie, as a mom, that is not who I want representing my archetype. So I'm kind of not sure about Gavin either. What's his deal? I don't think anybody would be high on Gavin right now if we hadn't just seen David versus Goliath and watched Nick win. But I kind of was looking at Gavin preseason, so maybe, I don't know. He also could go out this week. As far as Rick, he's probably toast unless he's way better at this game than we think. Maybe he can pull something together, but I don't know. I really think that the edge of Extinction returning, the next one, is going to be at that final 3 and probably take this game. I mean, the jury is always going to favor them, I think, because they have been there. Not like maybe they got to be great friends on the edge, but they're going to be the ones that are thinking about how hard it was and how they would have wanted to win. And I think they're going to think that the edge person deserves it. I know that's not the common theory, but we're the fans and they're the players. So here's what I want. Aurora, Joe, maybe Rick at the end? I don't know. I like Rick one week, the next week I don't. This week I didn't like him, so I really don't know what is going to happen. And I've never felt this way watching Survivor before. Anyway, it was a great episode that got us thinking, and I'm excited for the family visit. I don't know whose family member I want to see. I guess Gavin's because he recently got married, but I don't even know who anybody else's family would be. Maybe Lauren, because she's sweet, and I think she's going to totally break down if she sees her dad or her mom. So let's hope that goes well. I'm wondering if the Edge of Extinction players are going to get to see their family in some way. Wouldn't be right, but I've heard some buzz about that, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm excited for the next episode. I am so thankful that I found your podcast and that I get to hear what everybody else out there in the world thinks. Have a great week, and talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Mary. We're super glad you found us, too. And we enjoyed your voice, so feel free to call back or record your own audio anytime you want. And writing in is great, too. So glad to have it all. Good deal. So, yeah, it looks like Lauren's probably pretty overwhelmed when she sees her dad. I'm thinking that's her dad. You thought it was someone younger, but I'm pretty sure it's her dad.
I thought it was a boyfriend or something, but you said, no, that's her dad.
That's definitely an older.
I couldn't
Either
really
that or
see
she's,
him that
she's
well.
like dating her professor or
On
something.
we're talking about, there's a preview clip out there.
Right, where you get to see everyone's loved ones, albeit very briefly. So, yeah.
Very briefly.
Yes.
Actually, you missed
There was-
some of it.
There was, the first time through, it was so quick. There's an extra video, although there's almost, again, we're getting cheated out of extra videos as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
they
there's only
just
2 or 3.
basically threw it in at this point, but there's one where you get to see Rick talking about winning immunity and how he's hoping his dad will be proud of him. And I think that further made me think, that just feels like his swan song. So he's won 2 in a row, and he's celebrating that hopefully he made his dad proud by being able to win, and because some of those advantages are real physical, and his dad's an Army Ranger and an engineer and all kinds of things. He's like got a super dad that he's been trying to please all his life, it sounds like. Anyway, that you put all that together with that, and it's the only extra bit. Well, no, there's a secret scene too, right? But it's like one of 2 or 3 extra videos this week in the preview, and it just made me more feel like this was the getting towards the end of the road, that he's about to take his second trip to Extinction Island.
Or that he's going to soar to the top.
To the end. There's another way to look at it. Like Mary said, there's all these different ones. Who would you pick as the winner if you took Mary's top 3? Aurora, Rick, and Joe, if they ended up being final 3.
Aurora, Rick, and Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think I'd have to go with Rick.
Yes. Even though Joe would have had a similar path, he wouldn't have had as much of a path as Rick. And Rick's done all this his first time, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it would seem like that
And he won
might
his
win
way
out.
back. And if he stays in long enough to get the final 3, then he deserves
Have quite
something
a story.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That means he's got to win an awful
I
lot,
guess that's-
because I don't think anyone will work with him. No one currently in the game will work with him unless something happened that they found out that someone really went after them and they just had a vendetta.
Right.
They would not work with Rick.
Yeah, he's equally perceived by everyone as the biggest threat to win that's in there right now. So why wouldn't they all want to get rid of him? Even if somebody had it in their head that they were going to move early on someone else.
Ron wouldn't, because he's the perfect shield for Ron. Nobody's going to look at Ron as long as Rick's there.
Yeah, Ron was talking about things a little differently. He was really thinking
Yeah.
War Dog was his big shield. But, yep, I agree. Rick offers something to him, so he might protect him a little bit. But he's really headed down a potentially mean path with Rick
I
right
think
now.
both Rick and Aurora are shields for Ron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Good deal. Thanks again, Mary. Next up, we got an email from Mike in Omaha. He's back. Hello, Survivor fans. This is a most interesting season, isn't it, folks? I mean, we've got some serious players, but the editing isn't giving us enough to really go on. It really is nearly impossible this season to truly know where everyone's head is at. That's true. They're just so little they're providing. This has everything to do with the theme. Edge of Extinction was some crazy Probstism that he finally got through. It's much better than Ghost Island, but it still messes with the overall formula of the game. This week, out there on Edge of Extinction. I agree with Stacy that there aren't a lot of folks left to cheer for, but I gotta say that I like these kinds of seasons. They're crazy, they're unpredictable, and at least seemingly, most everyone is willing to backstab everyone else. Unfortunately, I think that's the story the edit is trying to tell us. But now that all the returnees are gone, we're beginning to see just how loyal some of these folks are to one another. It's interesting to me that Julie continues to be shown so prominently. After week 1, I said she's going to be a finalist. You did indeed. You saw it before everyone else. I've seen nothing that discourages me from that. Unfortunately, as she's my USB, it irks me as I'm all but certain she's a finalist who does not win. This also could be the case. Based upon the edit, it's clear she has some key role to play, some pivotal decision that must leave who wins and loses in the balance. This seemed like a terrific episode for Ron, but I still find it hard to see the jury handing him a win. Yeah, the question is, do they see his hand in things the way that the editors have shown us? Is Lauren going to win this? If so, I'd be all right with it. Ditto for Victoria. My opinion of Gavin started off high, but continues to slowly chip away week by week. Rick is a sympathetic character, but even he's had his down days. I like the edit only in that it seems to paint that most all of these characters are smart and dumb at once. Yep, they're definitely flawed, which is realistic.
Normal.
Yeah, and that, I feel, is always the real truth. You are right, sir. Ream 'em out, ream, but quit showing us this love fest of returnees. Go home, you losers. I want to see everyone's loved one visits. I think Lauren really, really needs love from home. I felt smart listing Wardog as the vote off, but it's clear I wasn't alone in this, so it's a touch more dissatisfying. Glad he's gone, frankly. Is Aurora the goatiest goat? Is it Julie? Is Ron being set up to be torn to absolute shreds by the jury? Stacy and Joanne, I appreciate all you do. Y'all are awesome. Looking forward to hearing what all the other fans have to say. So great to have your voice back with us this week. Thank you, Mike. Great job. What do you think? Who's the goatiest goat, Aurora or Julie? I got Julie. Yeah, I think Aurora is very goaty in that she's alienated everyone with her talking, and that's certainly something she has in common with Amanda. The inability to communicate.
No, that's not true. Amanda did really well throughout the game. People keep forgetting that about her. She just can't talk at the final tribal council.
That's what I'm going for.
But throughout the game, she played a great game.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about her ability to communicate.
Well, that was
especially
not clear.
When it counts the most, and that's her, what she's got in common, like Pete was talking about with Amanda.
I liked my Amanda.
Yes, I did too. But her inability to communicate, which is the key point here, and the differentiator between her and Julie. Yeah, I think Julie's the goatiest goat. Although Lauren seems pretty high on the list too. She's had her moments early on, but she's certainly a dud.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that Lauren backed off in the challenges?
No.
Because she was being seen as such a threat? They were wanting to target her?
No, I think she started more and more paying the price for not being able to eat.
Okay.
And that's why she went ahead and took the risk for the pizza with Wentworth. But we see what that did for Wentworth. Okay. Here we go. Next up, we got a call from Krystal.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Krystal. I'm calling from Pasadena, California. I'm a longtime listener, but first-time caller.
All right.
And I just wanted to call to let you know how much I love your podcast. I look forward to it every week, almost as much as I look forward to watching Survivor itself. I love listening to your comments and recaps on all the episodes, and I think you guys are just great. I had to call in this week, though, and give some of my thoughts on this latest episode. I definitely celebrated when War Dog got voted out, mostly because I didn't really like how he was counting on all of the tribe members being stupid or counting on their stupidity. I didn't really like when he said that, and I feel like his arrogance was just getting a little too much for me. I was really enjoying watching Callie's reaction to all of the votes War Dog was getting at Tribal. That was up until the part where she made it all about her. I don't really think that vote was about her, so I was a bit surprised to hear her say that they got vengeance on her behalf. I have to admit, I laughed a little when she made that comment. Finally, I know that you guys touched on this a week or so ago, but given the players that are left, I'm wondering whether the person who earns their way back from Edge of Extinction is going to be at a disadvantage or an advantage being back in the game so close to the finale. On one hand, I feel as though the players on Edge of Extinction are really bonding, so I feel like it could be an advantage if the person that comes in is really close with them. But on the other hand, I feel like it could also be a disadvantage since I'm not sure how much time the player will have to build up their resume for the finale, especially if it's someone who was voted out a while ago, such as Joe or Aubrey. I absolutely love Joe. I'm a huge Joe fan, and I always root for him. But with very little game moves, I'm sad to say that I'm not sure he really has a chance to actually win, even if he gets to come back into the game. I don't know what to think of the timing of when the other player gets to return, so I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. Hopefully I'll get the chance to call in again. But thank you so much for all you do. I'm looking forward to listening to what you and all of the other Survivor fans have to say. Till next time, have a great day. Bye.
All right. Thanks for the kind words, and we're thrilled that you called in and joined the show. Good job, too. I like that. So if there's any sense of camaraderie out there on Extinction Island, and I can't say that we've seen a lot of that, and thankfully they've designed it so it can't be all chummy, right? They have to compete with each other against the for the advantages and things like that. But the sheer numbers that are going to be there by the finale and the size of the jury and all the time they've spent together says that someone returning from there could very well have a deep advantage because of those connections that would cancel out the other parts.
But there's so many unknowns. Now, you said you thought you had read something where they come back at Final Five.
Right.
And then, therefore, there would be...
It bumps it back to 6.
Back to 6.
Have the competition then.
Which, of course, they'll probably do in the finale because that's what would be hardest.
They're tracking towards...
for us.
Yeah, for everyone
that plays JSFL.
Yeah, to manage.
And, but also, we don't know if everyone, after that challenge... Does everyone stay on the jury? Do they go back to Ponderosa? Do they choose if you stay on the jury? Do you, if you want to stay on the jury, do you have to stay at Extinction? Or we don't know what they're going to do with those people after that.
I like your question because it has a shock element to it. Like there's some potential they somehow wouldn't be on the jury. But at this point, being at the juries, even though they've been unnamed as jury members, and that could be part of the catch that you're potentially highlighting, because he never named them as a juror, then they could just be a temporary
and that's
component.
Been very obvious that Jeff always used to say their names.
Announce them all as they entered.
Yeah, and he hasn't. So that's what made me think that
might be something up.
There may be something, or maybe they'll say, you have to finish in this position to win your way back on the jury. This person wins their way back into the game, whoever comes in first. Mm-hmm. But the next 7 or 8 or how many ever
are competing to be the jury.
Competing for the jury. And the rest of you are out.
Well, that's an interesting twist. I don't think that's likely. And I think that would certainly be a cruel and unusual twist to have. But it's interesting to consider for sure. Yeah.
Because this is the first time. So we don't know what they're going to do.
And further answering Crystal's question, part of it really depends on who it is. So if Julia makes it back, is everyone really cheering for Julia? Did she make those kind of connections? Does she have the gravitas? Does she have the pull that Aubrey or Joe or David or Kelly have because they're returnees and known? Don't know.
Would make Gavin and Victoria happy, probably.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Well, you mean if they were on the jury? Yeah, sure.
No, if they weren't on the jury.
Oh, to have Julia back, they would be happy to have someone that's sort of on equal footing?
They were in an alliance with her, yes.
Well, possibly, I guess. I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah,
someone they trust.
So many fun unknowns. All right, thank you for that question, Crystal. We're going to keep it moving. Next up, we got a call from our buddy Slappy McGee.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Slappy McGee calling you from Bradford, Vermont this week. I want to thank Julie for the song and for Stacy renditioning the song. That was very nice. It made me chuckle. Put a little warm spot in my heart because everything else is cold these days. My picks are falling through the floor. Oh, my dear gracious. Oh, well, I got to be gearing up for something. But you know what? Rick is going to bring me to it. I'm telling you, they only got, 7 people left, and not going to go to Victoria. It's not going to go to Ron, or it's not going to go to Julie. I mean, Gavin, Lauren, and Aurora have the best shots at it, but I don't think they're going to get it either. I don't know, maybe. Rick, come on, Rick. I think Joanne mentioned that Kelly had said he got it, referring to the secret sign that she gave or something to that effect. But I think it was actually, she was referring to Rick getting the necklace. So, because they saw that Rick had the necklace, she goes, oh, he got it. And maybe they've been talking about the necklace. I could be wrong about that. I was just going to chime in on that. Probably wrong like everything else, though. Speaking of Kelly, her mugging. You guys, her mugging at the camera's worse than Aubrey's. I mean, she just knows where the camera is. She's just playing it up. Oh, I hate it. It's the worst. The worst. Every time someone shows up at the edge of Extinction Island, you get this crotchety old witch, Reem, telling him some sort of, I got something to tell you tomorrow. You just wait to see, or whatever she's saying. It makes me laugh. Now, it's annoying, sure, and it's just, I mean, she should have been long gone. She was like first out, right? Mm-hmm. But, oh, my gosh, it makes me laugh so. Oh, I got a few words for you. She's a crotchety old witch. But about this jury thing, do you think that when they have the play-in to get the person back in the game, do you think that they'll do it on a rank thing and the people who finish at the bottom won't be on the jury? Is that a possibility? So that the jury will be smaller and not such a huge jury, and that it'll be a normal-sized jury? You think it's possible they could, do that challenge and only the top few people get to remain? Like the first person gets back in, and the next few people actually get to stay on the jury, and everyone else has to get out, has to go. I think that would be more fair, because I think just some of those people don't deserve to be on the jury. I just think the whole idea, like, if you just choose to stick it out, you can be on the jury. I'm not a big fan of that. Thank you, Joanne, for your support. Stacy, how dare you, sir? How dare you? Joanne's supporting me, so it'll be Joanne and Slappy McGee. That's right. I'm going to drive by. I don't even know where you guys are, but we'll drive by, and me and Joanne will hit the road. And Stacy will be sitting there with his banjo recital. There'll be nobody in the audience. Oh, poor Stacy. No. Got to give you some sort of crap, right? Mm-hmm. Because Lord knows my picks aren't going to do it for me. All right, guys. Thanks for the wonderful show. I look forward to hearing everybody's feedback, of course. I love all the different varieties of takes that people have on this stuff. I mean, from the opening, woo, to the Drew's crew and everybody's. I mean, there's some, there's and Parker's enthusiasm. I mean, it's really fantastic. There's so many good input to your show, and your listeners are pretty awesome and insightful with it to say. So that's my compliments, because that's all I got left. No hope. That's what I don't have. I don't have hope. All right, take care. I do have hope. His name is Rick. Rick, roll me. Labby out.
So you got that idea.
Me, Slappy.
You got that idea from Slappy.
I didn't.
You did?
I did not even listen to the audio.
Sure,
that.
Sure, you do.
No, I don't. You edit the audio. Didn't know that, but we're in sync.
Same wavelength.
We are on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, honey, don't you worry none, because an hour on the road with me and Slappy would bring me back. And as soon as I started reading all the signs to him, he would turn around.
Might flip that one around.
Yeah.
Come back for the tail end of the banjo recital as a trade-off.
Stacy's stop reading the signs to me. Well, don't you want to know what's up ahead? Just reading
I
the
see
signs
him a good
to
5 seconds before
No. You keep your eyes on the road. I will read all the signs to you.
Yeah. Yes, she's very helpful on road trips.
There's nothing else to do.
Oh, goodness. All right. Hey, Slappy, we got another treat coming up for you. Here's an email from Julie.
I don't know about a treat. But...
Julie from Iowa.
Hello, Survivor friends. Oh, Joanne, I'm so sorry about the me and Slappy McGee song being stuck in your head. I had just got it out of my mind and then listened to your feedback this morning, and bam, it's back. By the way, Stacy, great job performing the song. As I was listening to the feedback, I was also thumbing through Facebook, and I saw where someone asked the question, do you remember this song? Well, there went the Slappy McGee song out of my head, and now I have this song on replay. Now, I have to set this up. I decided I should do this, and as everyone can hear, my voice goes in and out, and I'm not a singer. And so at 1 o'clock last night. I thought, get it done, get out the recorder, and I just kind of do it cold. So I wish you could hear the music that was playing in my head. But anyway, this was my effort. Hang on, Slappy, Slappy, hang on. Hang on, Slappy, Slappy, hang on. Slappy lives on the east coast of the USA. And every Thursday, Stacy tries to put our Slappy down. Slappy, we don't care what your final score is. 'Cause you know, Slappy boy, we're in love with you. And so we sing out, everybody now. Hang on, Slappy, Slappy, hang on. Hang on, Slappy, 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 hang on. Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Okay, back to the
Just
email.
imagine the music.
Back to Julie. Good job, by the way.
Yeah, right. My score is now 35.
I heard that number before.
I had the 4 safe picks correct, but I had Ron to go home, so I have clawed my way to the bottom. Hang on, Slappy. Thanks to all of my survivor friends for their feedback each week. I anxiously await each week to hear from each and every one of you.
All right, and we're glad your voice is a part of that. Thanks, Julie. Good job.
Yeah, and from now I'm reading the song and telling the melody.
Okay. All right, next up, we got a call from Sophie.
Hi, Survivor friends, Survivor addicts. This is Sophie in Texas. Hi, Joanne and Stacey. I loved this show this week. Also wasn't thrilled with the activities, the games that they had to play. But the best part was War Dog slipping. That was just hilarious. We were around it a few times. And then him swimming in the wrong direction. However, sad to see him go because he was actually doing really well strategically, and I liked seeing how he was twisting things, and really wasn't sure if it was Aurora or War Dog to the last. And I had chosen Aurora to go home, but then the last minute changed it to War Dog. Oh, so glad I did. 4 points this week, thank goodness. I need to catch up with everybody. Hoping that Gavin can start playing a little bit more, but really if I could change my picks, I would just change it to Rick. Yeah, voting for him all the way, I think. And my husband was cheering. Like, he actually made me spill my dinner when we were watching it because he jumped up off the sofa when he won the puzzle. Yeah. So he was like, yes, he won immunity. Like, so he's even using Survivor language, and he's really into it now this week. This season, I think it's now been like 2 seasons that he's really been into it. So maybe I'll get him to watch some of the old seasons. But it was good. Hope you all have a lovely week. I am just thinking that all of the jury, they're really sort of involved and communicating a lot with all the other survivors that are still there, that I think that everybody who doesn't get back into the game is going to need some sort of counselling. They're all going to have post-traumatic stress disorder because it will be like they're voted out twice. They're emotional and exhausted, and I don't know what sort of state they're going to be in when they finally get to Ponderosa, you know, all of them. I think there's just too many. They need to have the challenge now to get somebody back in the game, and I sort of feel bad that they're being strung along and having the chance to go to the Extinction Island. It really was a good show, good episode. I'm glad that they did a blindside. I just thought, you know what, they're doing blindsides every single week. They're not going to go for the easy vote, which is Aurora. However, I think I would like Aurora to go just because she's so strong. I would like a chance to win a necklace, to win an immunity. Next week, I'm even not sure they're going to go for Aurora. I think Ron is going to actually try to keep Rick, tell Rick to use his little paper and to convince everybody that he's got an advantage so that they'll be scared to vote Rick out because he is a shield to Ron. I'm not too sure what will happen. Hopefully it'll all work out and Rick will keep winning. Anyway, take care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Sophie. So that has the potential to backfire on Ron, like we were talking about before we started recording. So he gives him the expired secret advantage menu, which was steal a vote, steal a reward, or use it as individual immunity. It's just that it expired back at the 3rd Tribal Council, and he's just going to tear the bottom off of that and give it to Rick. So Rick's going to have that think potentially he may have something, but then we see in the preview that Victoria, Aurora, and Lauren find it in Rick's bag. And so that could cause them to veer away from Rick and onto who? Aurora and Ron, right? That's the potential backfire
But Aurora's
on Ron.
in the group that knows it.
Yes, that doesn't matter. They don't like Aurora. No one's expressed outside of Ron any desire to really work with her. Everyone describes her as unreliable, and you never know what she's going to say at tribal council, even though she is a part of
they
it.
would talk to Ron about it.
Yeah.
I think they do it.
You don't think they would just
and I
pivot
don't-
on to Ron? There's just so few left.
Well, I thought you meant that Rick could approach other people and say, I have this, I'm not going anywhere, vote with me and let's get out whoever.
Well, yeah, I guess you
And,
could try to build consensus that way.
But that wouldn't work.
It'd be funny
Ron
if
would end up
Rick gave
telling
it to
them.
someone. He just said, nah,
Yeah,
something wrong with this.
give
I'm
it to him,
give
yeah.
it to Aurora.
Well, I thought somebody said something about him using it maybe to get to see his wife on the visit because you can steal a reward.
Oh, that was one of the options
But-
on there. That would be embarrassing, huh?
Yeah,
On the
or maybe
menu.
it was just us talking about it. But anyway,
We did talk about it.
I
I don't know where
remember
else you might have
saying
read it.
to you that I didn't think he would do that because,
Mm-hmm.
Immunity is way more. I'm sure you love your wife, but
He's very
hello, $1 million.
pragmatic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he totally would be because he'll be home soon. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It's like, honey, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
I love you.
Not gonna blow up my game and alienate
$1
everyone.
million.
Yeah.
And if that were me, I'd go,
Assuming-
got it, babe.
Yeah.
Go
assuming
get him.
He doesn't somehow win the reward challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Sophie. Next up, we got a call from Drew's crew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. I am flying solo this week, so I'm just going to get this in quick. Oh, Charlie just showed up. We'll see if he has anything to say. This was a fun week. I actually had War Dog to go, so I kind of doubted that, especially at the start when they were talking about him so early on in the episode, but worked out for me and worked out for a lot of people, I guess. Actually worked out for Julie, too, because she had him to go. It's funny that there were a few mentions last week in the feedback about why I didn't give War Dog any love for Winner of the Week last week. And the truth is, I completely did not even register that he was a player in that move. I didn't even think about it. It was like I had completely blocked him out of my head. I knew who left. It was all kind of a whirlwind, I guess, because I just did not have that recollection. And that's fine, because now he's gone anyway, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's not going to be much of a player going forward either. Oh, Milo showed up too, so it's just the boys down here. There was some nice drama in the challenges. There was some nice drama actually at Extinction Island. I didn't hate the Kelly bit, and I didn't hate the Reem bit, because I feel like she's just really struggling with the emotions. Like, you don't get to process it because you're just stuck there all day thinking about it. Like Kelly said, you don't get to go home and like have a nap and have a sandwich or whatever. You just are stuck there. So that was kind of a nice perspective to get, especially from Reem when she called Kelly out on it. But then, she made good, and she came out and made sure that Kelly was taking care of herself. And so winner of the week, I'm going to say is, here's Adelaide. I guess the whole kit and caboodle decided to come on down. Winner of the week, I'm going to give that to Rick again, because he's somehow sticking it out, doing really well. Loser of the week, I'm going to give to Ron, because he is shady. And I don't like it. He is super shady. He's also kind of a crybaby when things aren't going his way, but he's super cocky when they are, so I don't love that. All right, that's it for us. Do you have anything to say, Charlie?
I brought boxes down.
You brought your work boxes down? Yep.
And I didn't bring anything down.
You didn't bring anything down. How about you, Milo?
All
Say,
right,
uh-oh. He's too entranced by the visual of the recording. All right, everyone have a great weekend. I hope everyone had a happy Easter. Yeah, can you guys say bye?
Bye.
Say bye.
Can we watch the challenge?
Yeah, maybe we can watch a challenge later. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good job.
I would be mad if I were Reem, since she's been there the longest and been without food, the longest. And so I'm sure she's angry.
You saying she's got reason to be grumpy?
She's got reason to be grumpy.
I got to think even a well-fed Reem isn't the most cheery person to be around.
I don't know. She does, used to. She didn't make me laugh, but at this point, she just makes me laugh now.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a comedy routine. She's basically the laugh track of Extinction Island.
It's like, who's coming next? Yes, I have a bone to pick with you.
Yeah.
Even if it's somebody she never met before, because they were too stupid to vote Kelly out sooner.
All right. Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, my wife came home from the hospital late Wednesday. Yeah, excellent. I'm still settling into my new job as her home care aide, but she hasn't fired me yet, so I guess I'm not doing badly. Yeah, maybe you're onto something there. Here are my other observations. Gavin was irked that War Dog barked at him like a dog. What did he expect from a dog? Yodeling? We now have visual proof that Ron is a seesaw. Ron, Rick, and War Dog, 3 scorpions looking for frogs to ride. You bet. If Ron doesn't win, he has a bright future as a juggling mime. That's true. That's good. In the reward challenge, War Dog swam a dog leg while doggy paddling. Devins must play a lot of ring toss at backyard barbecues. It's funny, the most human moment we saw from Kelly was when she needed a hug.
She needed a hug.
Yeah. Karma's a witch, and so is Reem. I don't think that Oprah wants to publicize this Ron Clark story. I disagree with Ron. I've never heard Aurora say, "No rice for you." Ron wants $2 million for spending 39 days with Aurora. I think they should give the other tribe members $2 million for spending 39 days with him. Mud spas, the good side of mudslinging. That's good. At the spa, Rick and War Dog got clean while Lauren in immunity challenge. Rick should have saved his La Cheesery victory cry for a maze challenge. That's okay. Good. Like a rat in a maze hunting the cheese. If Lauren can't get her ducks in a row, she might be a dead duck. I wonder how the jury management we've seen will work out when a juror re-enters the game. Devins thinks the tribe is like Caesar surrounded by knives. I think it's more like Mad Magazine's Spy versus Spy. Yeah, that works too. Kelly's a narcissist. She thinks the tribe voted out War Dog to give her revenge. I think they're all trying to be sole survivor. I wonder if Aurora's extra vote will make a difference in the next episode. Could be.
Oh yeah, I was forgetting about that too.
Yeah, because they're at odds, right? So they're down to 7. So that could be an interesting twist it could offer. Stacy, I think the outro for this listener feedback episode needs to be the Baja Men's "Who Let the Dogs Out." Yeah. Next time, Ron causes chaos when he gives Rick his expired advantage. Bring on the loved ones, and Reem lives up to her name with War Dog. Only 3 episodes left, folks. Anyway, that's it from me for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Stellar job as usual. Yeah, I can't risk using the copyrighted music. I mean, we could do, if you had a parody, if you want to write lyrics, we could try that. But the big music companies, so this is just an aside, I'll give you some context. And if you follow any of the big music guys on YouTube, like Rick Beato and Adam Neely, and I can't think of that German guy's name right now. Anyway, they're getting their videos just completely taken down, like disappeared. And we do provide the audio of each episode on YouTube. And we've got a couple hundred people, I think, that are subscribed there. So even though there are thousands standard podcast listeners, and that's where most people get it, is through an audio podcast, I run the risk of having it completely disappear off YouTube if we use copyrighted music. That's why I've been trying to find these alternatives or sticking to parodies and things like that. And we're not on their radar, but they're using applications to find these things and go after them and do strikes, and they're just being hyper vindictive again as the music industry once again gets it wrong.
Well, thank goodness Russ Landau gave us permission to play his music.
I don't know if he had the rights to do that or not, but we went with it
was his music
for a while, and I can tell you that we were getting flagged for that, and then it was being marked as okay. So it was picking us up for using, even though it was remixes that we were using, we were getting flagged for that even back then, even though we're just small beans in the scheme of things. When they're letting the algorithms make the decisions, and there's apps that are out there doing data mining to pull this up, it's everything gets found potentially.
No, we're meat.
So I love your idea, Josh, but I'm not going to risk that for the couple hundred folks that are out there listening on YouTube.
It was a joke. Don't take it so seriously.
No, it wasn't a joke. I think it was a legitimately good suggestion. I just wanted him to understand, maybe make some other folks aware of how bad that is. It's a little bit much for you. I get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again, Josh. Next up, we got a call from Cameron.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. This is Cameron from North Carolina. I actually had to wait until Thursday to watch this week's episode. I was too busy Wednesday night watching the Carolina Hurricanes upset the Capitals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But hockey aside, let's talk Survivor. War Dog had been maintaining a pretty solid game, but after his demands to Gavin, it was just proven to me that he cannot maintain a social game for his life. All he had going for him was strategy. Albeit awkward, War Dog actually was a decent swimmer, it looked like. Guess he isn't completely useless in challenges. Kind of interesting how the teams in the reward challenge wound up being an homage back to the original Manu versus Kama, even with the colors, with the exception of Julie, of course, though different this time, as the blue Manu would not have won something like this. I honestly don't think I entirely follow Reem's anger logic toward Kelly. You're all losers now. Acting like you have to stand up and fight your point is honestly pretty pointless in my opinion. Ron does not do or say much that I find amusing, but I did find his rice fight with Aurora pretty entertaining. Always a rice Nazi at camp somewhere. Surprised the episode was entitled, Heaven is Getting Mud Rubbed on You by War Dog in Fiji. Kind of long, but I'm pretty sure that just about perfectly sums up the episode. Just kidding, but good win on Rick's part. I had him voted out in JSFL this week, so once again, I'm just hoping to hold on to my save points. I almost wish Jeff would shush Kelly when she's on the jury. Seems to me she's forgetting they're there to observe, not to interact. War Dog doesn't seem to necessarily be flirting with the jury at the tribal council, but he's smart in airing out his strategy to them so they wouldn't hold his deceitfulness over him all the way, had he actually make the final tribal council, which I guess still isn't impossible. I kind of feel like the discussion before the vote at tribal council was, for the most part, pointless. They were spitting out a lot of random analogies that didn't actually seem to ultimately pertain to War Dog leaving. I was not extremely a fan of War Dog at first, but honestly, as of late, I've been respecting his game more than most others. Because of his physicality, of course, I don't anticipate seeing him win his way back, but who knows, maybe we'll get to see War Dog Da Silva on a future season. Next time on Survivor. Looks time we were all correct in that Ron was going to keep that Vantage menu around and use it as a fake, though maybe it gets exposed as it looks like Aurora and Victoria are a bit too nosy. I would say Rick most likely goes in the event he does not win immunity, but who knows, maybe next week actually could be Ron's time to be blindsided. Not a bad episode. I found it enjoyable. I gotta say, since that Aubrey vote out, Victoria is becoming more and more of a goat to me. She doesn't seem to be really doing anything big. At this point, I really don't see her, Aurora, or Julie winning in the end. Unless Julie can somehow work that woman power angle she tried on Lauren on the reward in the final tribal council. Could she maybe win? Alright, Joanne and Stacy. Alright, Survivor fans. Hope to hear some great feedback, and I will see you all next time.
Thanks, Cameron. Good job, buddy. Yeah, Victoria's definitely lost some of her original agency. She seems just to be on the sidelines now, which is unfortunate. It seems like she's got some gameplay in her. And War Dog ended up coming across just as a big game bot. So he was like a variation on the Spencer-like game bot that didn't carry over to having a significant social game.
I actually think Aurora's in the exact same boat as Rick. Maybe a step up. At least people will still work with her for a vote. Mm-hmm. But she's always going to be the easy vote.
Yeah,
she's out.
Seems like it, yeah.
If their target is unavailable, she's up.
Sure. Yeah, it's convenient. So, like Victoria said in one of her confessionals this week, it's if you can keep it easy. So.
Well, and it's a good thing Cameron told us that was hockey he was talking about, because we looked at each other like, no.
Thank you, though, and we're glad you're enjoying watching the game and that you found time for Survivor 2. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. Yes, I'm back, and I know you missed me, just as all the other Survivor fans did too. I could tell in your tone of voice and theirs that you were depressed that I hadn't called it. Wait, I'm replaying that movie in my mind again. Well, okay, I was really busy. I really didn't know what to say, and so I kind of let it go. But in listening to caller feedback, I really agreed with Shea 100%. So, Shea, thank you for saying what I couldn't verbalize. Everything that you said, I just said, yep, that's exactly how I felt. And Christiana, I agree with you too. Like, too much is being packed into an episode, not enough strategy or the storylines. So this week, it seemed like we were going back to the old Survivor of the past. And I thought last week that War Dog made his move too soon. Not that it was wrong to get Kelly out, but I think he did it too soon. And now he paid for that this week. Right now, the players that are left, I don't really have too much invested in them. Maybe Rick, but I guess I just don't really care if either one wins. I really feel this season I'm comparing it too much to David and Goliath, where I was constantly hoping certain characters would make it to the end. And here, I don't know. I just really don't know what the strategy is, why people are playing the way they're playing, and how things are being done. And the more I think about it, the more I'm questioning how Extinction Island is going to actually work. I mean, if a player comes back, they've been there for most of the game. They didn't form alliances. They didn't have to plan a strategy. Everybody else was being taken off right and left, and they're back on Extinction Island. And then they come back in the game, and they start winning immunities show after show. I don't know. I'm not sure viewers are going to be happy about that unless it's Joey Amazing, and then I think everybody will be saying, "Okay, fine, give it to him." Don't get me wrong. I still am enjoying the season, but I liked seeing Previously On. I want to see the logo and the intro, and I want Ponderosa back. So give me my old Survivor, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Great to have your voice in the show again, David, and totally understand that desire to have some of the elements that we're more familiar with that seem to make a fuller story.
Yeah, I wish they were giving the extra clips. You know, they're just not giving us anything.
Right. Seems to be less and less.
No Ponderosa, none of that.
Yep.
Jeez.
We're missing some of those things we got spoiled with, I guess.
Why couldn't they at least add back in, you know how they used to show us what they said when they placed their vote? I miss that. I always loved watching
I'm pretty sure I know why they do that.
Because they don't want to give any of the story away.
Right. It allows them to hide the story better when you remove them sharing what some of their motivation for their vote was.
Understand.
And so they can reshape the story and make us think it's going in ways that maybe it didn't really go. And they basically just get to avoid a ton of inconsistencies that would potentially pop up. They give themselves more option in the storytelling. It's unfortunate, though.
Because I have no clue.
It leaves a lot of us lost. Yeah, those of us that like to go in and look at all the little details and try to read
Even when
the
I
tea
looked
leaves.
at it and read it wrong, at least I thought I was reading something into it.
Had some semblance of a reason.
Like, I thought I had it figured out from that. I
Good
could make up my own story in my head.
Yes. Good deal. Thanks again, David. Next up, we got a call from Jen-n-Sophia.
Hi, this is Jennifer-n-Sophia. Say hi, Sophia.
Hello.
I've been listening to your show for a long time, and Sophia just started being a serious Survivor watcher, and we wanted to talk about who we think will make it to the end. First, I wanted to say that my bet on the final four are Joe, Aurora, Victoria, and Ron. Maybe Victoria, but Ron definitely. And Sophia will tell you why about those four. But I wanted to say about whoever makes it from Extinction Island has a really great advantage in that they know what the jury is thinking, and they know all of the jury dislikes and likes, so they could basically come back in, and if they work their alliances correctly, they could take out whoever is the favorite. They know what everyone's talking about, and they can kind of use that to their advantage. So I wanted to say that I think that Joe has a really good chance, unless of course he totally messes up the challenge or someone else just takes it from him. But I think Joe has a really good chance, and if he does come back, then he could link back up with Aurora if she's still in, because she's a challenge beast. And then, you know, I don't love them the most or anything, but I think that's a possibility. Okay, but Sophia, you want to talk about Ron and Victoria, right?
Yeah. So I think Ron and Victoria are very good. Even though they're not good physically in the physical game, they're really good in the mentally game, and they're really good strategically. So I think Ron's very good because he has many alliances. That means he can count on people to help him, and he has many numbers. Ron and Victoria both can manipulate people very easily into doing whatever they want or say. So I'm a little bit skeptical about Victoria because every time she has an alliance, like Ron, he has many alliances, but every time Victoria has an alliance, she always just gets rid of them immediately. I feel like she's kind of too secretive, and she needs to be more open and have more alliances, and that'll make her get far in the game.
No, right now she's just trying to be one of the numbers because she got burnt, but she probably will step her game up.
Yeah,
but we'll see. It's kind of bad to be too sneaky, but it might work.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're really excited. We made this voice recording 3 times, so hopefully I can figure out how to send it properly this time. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. Good
Awesome job.
Yeah. Good teamwork there. And I like that in-depth analysis. I just like a lot of people are mentioning, I'm constantly reminded how grateful and thankful I am for the depth of the listeners that participate in our podcast here. It's just fantastic. And you guys are such good communicators. I don't know if you all realize how valuable a skill that is and how you're really just practicing it each week when you come in and share with us and give us the benefit of what you're thinking about the show and things like that. But it's one of the most important life skills there is. I know that's...
Absolutely.
It's an aside's got nothing to do with the show other than you can see where people who can communicate really well, how valuable it is in the context of the show. So good job, and thanks for joining in. That was great. Now let's check in with an email from Jack in California.
This season just keeps on getting better. After the blind sides of the last returning players, anything can happen. I don't quite understand why Ron decided to tell Julie about Aurora's extra vote, besides maybe to gain her trust going forward in the game. Yeah, that's exactly why he did it, yeah. I think Ron...
Not to lose any more of it.
I think Ron made the smart choice in giving Aurora back her extra vote, and it would be great to see him ousted with her using it on him in the future. For the reward challenge, I never experienced a mud bath before, but that looked like it could be relaxing a little bit. As always, War Dog struggled at the challenge right off the bat this time when he slipped on the platform. Aurora was great at this challenge. I might have had to stop at the halfway point before continuing. It was nice to see an immunity challenge that was different from balancing things. War Dog knew he was a threat and hoped on stupidity going into that tribal council, but we have some really great players, so she blames her ousting on Kelly, but I don't think it was Kelly's fault. Reem ousted herself when she was trying to play the motherly role. Kelly had nothing to do with that. As for next time, we could get to see Reem and War Dog have a heated talk. Rick seems to be the next target to get ousted, but I think he will probably win immunity again, and maybe Ron goes. The expired reward menu makes its reappearance, and I think Rick will fall for it and bring on the family visit. Oh, okay. I think that's where our conversation last night started.
Oh, when you had read that? Oh, okay.
Yes. Thanks, Jack.
All right, good job, Jack. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, it's Justin from Michigan. Now that we're down to this final 7, I just wanted to give a couple final 3 scenarios I think would be interesting. I always like to look ahead to those possible final tribal councils. The first one that I'd really like to see would be Devins, Ron, and Lauren. I think that would be interesting. It'd be a situation where Devins wouldn't just run away with it. I think Ron would get a lot of votes, and Lauren might get a few. And especially if she can get to the end, that means she probably used her immunity idol effectively. She might win an individual immunity still, so she could have a case at the end. Those 3 right now, I think, have the strongest chance. If only one of them are in at this point, they have the best chance. I mean, not considering who comes back from Extinction, they're going to have a strong chance no matter what. If any of those players from Extinction come back to be in the final 3, they're going to have a very, very good chance. But just considering the players that are still in the game right now, those 3 are my strongest. My weakest right now, I would say, is Victoria, Gavin, and Julie. That kind of leaves Aurora in the middle, where I think she can still, especially if she wins another individual immunity, she can really make a case. But those 3, Gavin, Victoria, and especially Julie, have not done enough, in my opinion. Julie, I think the only chance she would even have is if she backstabbed Ron. If she could make that move, then she could maybe justify some votes. But I'm hoping to see a lot more out of Gavin and Victoria. Right now, they're in the bottom, in my opinion. Let's see how the rest of the season shapes out, and looking forward to hearing what everybody else thinks. Joanne and Stacy, who are your favorites to get to the end? All right, thanks.
All right. Great to have you back here this week, Justin, and I enjoyed your question and your analysis. Do you have a favorite 3 you would like to see? Or who do you think would provide the most difficulty in deciding who would win?
Well,
because there's a couple ways to come at that.
I would like to see Rick there, but I just don't know
that
how that would happen.
Overwhelming story. It seems like if he makes it, how does he not win?
And
it would be a bitter jury. I guess that's an easy answer. We've seen bitter juries undo people before, so they could just be jealous of him winning his way back in and making it there.
I don't know who I'm cheering for to return from Extinction Island. You know, I would be okay with Chris or Aubrey or Joe, Eric, though I don't know about his, and David. I don't care that much whether Kelly comes back or Julia, or certainly not Reen.
Yeah, they don't seem to offer anything, but the others that you mentioned, yeah.
But I'm okay with any of those
Chris, Aubrey,
people.
Joe, Eric, David, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, could get that, and whoever the next 2 that get voted out are.
Yeah, I could get behind them. Mm-hmm. If Eric came back, well, he is my USB 24, so.
Yeah, it's hard not to cheer. And I think there's a decent chance out of all the people who were so desperate to beat Joe, which included Chris, Eric, and Gavin. Eric seemed like the most likely contender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were neck and neck in the team challenges.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
And so I do think he has the best chance.
Yeah, if there's a physical element to it, for sure. And I think he's pretty sharp when it comes to puzzles.
We also don't know if it's something that, that either one of them are good at. So, Reem could have just as much opportunity.
Don't even say that. I like what Justin was saying about his dud 3. Right now, the ones, drawing dead seem like Gavin, Julie, and Victoria. You got nothing really for, and I'd even throw Lauren in that mix, honestly. Yeah, she's young and she's got some element of physicality, but I don't think she has any game sense, and that's what you got from the exchanges with Julie. When Julie and her are working together, they seem like they're equally unable to make decisions. So I'm not going to give Lauren a lot of benefit of the doubt.
Well, Lauren made a decision, but then she would kind of, when Julie would say something, she'd kind of,
that's my point.
Let me think about it. So she'd kind of change her mind. But I do think
Lauren's points
she is
are
strategic.
Not well thought out.
The thing I like best about Lauren is she did have a lot of physicality. Well, it's really tough to watch her not be able to eat rice because, again, that's usually something most people could tolerate. Anyway, I like most about her is that she has kept her mouth shut, except to Kelly, about the idol.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd had my druthers, she wouldn't even told her.
Right.
But they were the tightest.
These are not elements that win Survivor, though.
No, they don't always win.
That's
but
not a story that just
think
really
it's going to get her deep.
Bowls the jury over.
She's staying close enough.
Plenty of incompetent goats go deep in the game. That doesn't actually mean anything. Granted, you have to make it to the end to win. But there's been a whole bunch of people who showed up to the end, and they were shooting blanks.
If I were Lauren, I would court Julie all the time, and I would reinforce all the time, if you hear my name, please, even if you vote with them for me, that's okay for you to go with the group. Just please tell me privately.
That just sounds weak to me.
Just please tell me privately, and I will tell
weakness.
you if I hear my name.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
That annoys me to actually hear that out loud. That's weak.
Work with Julie.
Yeah.
For her to get enough information to pop the idol.
Lauren and Julie are basically just two sides of the same coin.
I know, but
at different points in their life. Yeah, maybe.
That's
maybe
why
you
I
can see
picked Julie.
something there. Yeah.
And I think Julie might actually do it.
And Victoria has this potential to be super snarky, so
yeah,
I think
Victoria wouldn't do it.
I think she could provide a lot of entertainment at the end were she to get there. I just don't think she's got any story to really work on. She doesn't have a lot of fuel. We'll see. But I like that idea of the least likely ones for sure. All right. Thanks again, Justin. You sent us off on a big detour. We're supposed to be going quick.
Oh, yeah. I have to call my mom. Hurry up.
Well, we got two more to go through, and then we'll wrap it up because I'm anxious to hear what Jen had to say.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, for me, this last episode was probably as close to a predictable episode that we can get this season. And that is to say, it's not very predictable at all. But I kind of had a sneaky suspicion that after the eliminations of David and Kelly, that the group seemed to be kind of flowing along a current of voting out the strongest threats. That kind of factored into my guess that War Dog might be voted out this week, but also, if I could Monday morning quarterback here again, I think that War Dog's wanting to vote out Kelly and even David was premature. And the reason is that you trust the devil you know better than the devil you don't know. So Kelly and David were part of his original tribe. So even though they did not have a trust in the sense that they were in a final 2 or final 3 alliance, I think that they were basically united against the faction that was the original comma. And therefore they were willing to use each other as votes, as stepping stones to get each of them further in the game. And I also think fundamentally the members of the old comma tribe are functioning with the same mindset. So as War Dog was helping to manipulate the ouster of David and Kelly and getting rid of basically his long-term numbers, the members of the old comma faction kind of just were able to bide their time to this point where now they have a clear majority in order to do what they want to do, which is to decimate the entire original Manu. Now, I don't necessarily think that the comma people are thinking that, in a sense, that they're still comma strong or anything. But again, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And so a decision to vote out War Dog versus Aurora, I kind of think was a pretty easy decision. A majority of the old comma are eventually going to get Aurora out. She's not going to win every single immunity till the end, I don't think. At least that's a good bet. And the timing was right just to strike on War Dog. So I think War Dog's blunders began with voting out David and then continued with voting out Kelly. And, now he's over there on Extinction and he's not coming back. And good on the comma people for whatever reason they had, remaining patient and not really stirring the pot too much when decisions were made to vote individuals out. And while I'm on the topic of original Manu members making poor decisions, what is up with Rick Devens always being on the wrong side of the votes? Well, not always, but mostly. I mean, is he just holding a grudge? That's not going to win you the game of Survivor. Now watch, now that I said that he's going to win. Anyway, that's about all I have. Can't wait to hear everybody else's feedback. Till next week. Bye.
All right.
He just doesn't know.
No, he's out of the loop.
He's so out of the loop. Nobody tells him.
He banked all his hopes on him and War Dog and Ron running the show. And so he was out once again. And
He's
backed
as
the wrong horse.
blindsided as whoever goes out.
Again.
He's like,
yeah.
That's why I looked at War Dog and go, I didn't do it.
Not me, he said.
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Like, of course it wasn't you. Nobody told you anything.
Like we were talking about earlier, they definitely have flaws. We're getting to see everybody's flaws. So nobody looks like a superhero this season for sure.
And Rick's getting good at rolling his eyes.
Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, this week I'm Paul in Pennsylvania as I'm back in my own stopping grounds. But yeah, my biggest takeaway for this episode is that Rick's days are numbered because the minute he loses immunity, he's out of there. I really do like the guy, but for some reason he's been rubbing me the wrong way. He's sort of like a bad aftertaste. Maybe it's because he's always making the wrong decision when it comes time to vote. I don't know. But speaking of bad decisions, we also have Victoria. It looks like she's more than willing to do what she feels is right for herself, even when she's in the loop. And you know, sometimes, most times, that's just not good. You don't rock the boat, even when you're secure in it. And I'm liking Aurora more and more, but again, she's another player that just has problems integrating. She's a powerhouse physically, and I'm really hoping that she ends up using that extra vote against Ron just for the irony. I guess I feel that my favorite for a win at this point is Lauren. But she's always got that sad face on, which makes her appear far weaker than she is. That doesn't win confidence or votes. I wonder if anyone out there really knows what she's battled through to get this far. Her biggest problem is that she's received no credit for anything. That all went to Kelly. But that's a common problem when you ally with a strong player. You're just seen as a tail. So Van Dog, yeah, that was satisfying. So it goes to show you that even though a move is possible in timing and, accuracy, that it may be just too good. Dan Dog more or less blundered and stumbled through his game like a bull in a china shop, and in the end, he just couldn't get out of his own way. So I'm thinking that Rick is next in line for Extinction Island. He survived this week by the grace of immunity, but that grace is going to end eventually, and when it does, he can expect to be reamed out. So take care, everyone. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for making that extra effort while you're on the road. We appreciate it, brother. Good job.
All right.
So
lots of good feedback.
Yeah, a lot to consider, and from our fabulous friends here at Survivor Fans Podcast.
I'm going to have to let it soak in and digest.
Yeah, so you don't have anyone jumping out at you for this week's vote out? It's not just screaming at you for Rick?
Well, of course it is, but somebody else might be screaming at me tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
I'm as wishy-washy as Lauren and Julie.
You're a flip-flopper. You are.
Well, yeah, obviously. Because I said last time, oh, yeah, War Dog. Yeah, I'm putting War Dog. Putting War Dog right up till I went in there to put War Dog. And then I thought, oh, look at that.
But what if?
I don't have any safe picks left. And
how am I possibly going to manage the end of the game?
I could do something else.
And preserve my points. Wrong.
And use the safe points on him.
How about that?
He probably won't go. After I'd said for a week, he's going to go home. He's going to go home. Oh, he's probably got another week.
The need for
I
points.
thought he was going home before.
And the fantasy league overrode good judgment.
Just lost another one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we want to say a big thank you to everybody who took the time out of their busy lives to send in your thoughts and predictions about this episode and what we can expect next. Definitely, we're all excited for the family visit, and at least those of us that enjoy it. See how that ends up impacting the game. That's the most interesting point, because sometimes it derails people's games. They just get flooded and overwhelmed.
Tis true.
We also want to say a big thanks to Hazel and Emily for your subscription donations. That means they're signed up and they give something back to the podcast every month. That's so big, and that's such a great help. Thank you so much for that. We deeply appreciate your continued support.
And if you play JSFL, don't forget to get your picks in before the deadline on Wednesdays, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. And we must need to go because my voice is gone.
All right, there you have it. Have a good one.